This is class 2 right now. We'll be talking about budgeting skills. How important budgeting is in Uganda? This is a question we're answering right now. Budgeting is very important. Remember those days when we used to when we go to school, even right now when the semester is about to start or the term is about to start, you go to your parent and tell them, Mom, I'm going back to school. They'll ask you, do a list of the things that you need. That's part of budgeting. Why do we need budgeting in business? You need to know when your business is making money. That's budgeting. And this requires you to know how much money you earn from sales and how much money you spend to run the business. The money that is left over after you subtract your expenses from your sale is the money your business has earned. Budgeting, as I said in summary, helps you to keep track of your expenses and your earnings. Simple.
This is a clip on the importance of budgeting, making a list of your expenses and making sure you are making enough money to pay your bills. This video was not created specifically for businesses, but it is helpful in sharing some ideas.
Here are some new bills you might not have considered. You might have to pay rent and utilities with that rent. You need to buy groceries. You need to keep your car repaired. And you need to keep your car insured. You need to have health insurance. All these bills need to be paid on a regular basis, and it's up to you to remember to pay them.
I suggest that you know when the bills are due.
Only you know your budget. You know how much money is coming in, and you know how much money should be going out. Don't listen to your friends. They want to spend their money, your money for you. Don't let them. It's your decision, not theirs.
The way to handle money appropriately is to budget, and that means knowing where your money is going, knowing what's coming in and where it's going out.
To survive in this world, the type of game plans that you might need obviously are a monthly financial budget. You know, what is your rent going to cost you? What are what are all the bills going to cost you? And how are you going to get those resources?
Budgeting is not some mysterious process that only financial experts can handle. Everybody can budget, and it's very simple. It's just staying on top of where all that hard-earned money is going.
When I budget, I write down every expense, whether it's a $3 coffee or a $50 pairs of shoes, just so I know how much money I'm spending and what type of things I'm using my money on. There's some expenses you just can't help, like gas and their necessities and food.
Credit cards can be a convenience in the budgeting process. They give you access to ready money. The downside to credit cards is that they can get out of hand if you're not careful. You can end up getting yourself in financial trouble that lasts not days or weeks, but for years.
Credit cards are good because you need to build up credit, but they can also become a problem if you're spending more money than you have. And I've always been taught to live within my means and never spend more than I have. When you obtain and use a credit card, you are building a credit history. Whether bad or good depends on how you use it. If you use it well, in other words, responsibly, by paying it off every single month, on time, never missing a payment, having a couple of different types of credit out there, maybe a car loan, charge card, a credit card, maybe a finance company loan. You're really establishing a good credit history that anybody who looks at your credit report looks at and says, this person is a responsible adult. I'm more than happy to give them a loan with a really great rate of interest or a terrific insurance product. One of the first things that everybody must do is go to a financial institution, whether it's a credit union or a bank, and open up a checking account and a savings account. That's really the dynamic duo, the checking account so that you can pay your bills, the savings account so that you can save for all those future expenses.
Well, you need a valid driver's license, your social security number, and then just complete the application card, and basically that's all we need.
I keep a booklet that got all my transactions from when I do go to the bank or when I do get anything off my card that lets me know what my balance is and how much I took out, so I can keep a good track where I'm at. So I just don't get lost and I'll be overdrawn or basically just broke.
it's time for us to talk about budgeting. What is budgeting? Budgeting is keeping track of exactly how much money is coming in and going out of your business. Let's look at a couple of examples. Let's create a weekly budget for a car wash. Before you started washing cars, you had to buy some supplies. So keep that in mind. Let's create a budget. We're going to have 4 columns in our budget. You're going to have the date, the expenses, your income, and your total. So what are the dates? The dates are the days that you worked. The expenses, those are the things that you had to spend money on, your cost. Income, that's how much money you earned from working, and then your totals. So let's say you spent $10 buying soap and $10 buying water so that you can do your job. So in total, you have spent $20 in expenses. In column 2 is your income, how much money you earned. On day 1, you washed 10 cars, which earned you $60. On day 2, you washed 15 cars and earned $90. So if you add 60 plus 90, for those 2 days, you earned $150. What do you do next? You have to find out how much money you have left over. So you spent $20 on supplies and you earned $150 from working. So what you have to do is subtract your income, $150, from your expenses, which is $20 for your supplies, and you have $130 left over. Let's look at the budget summary. What we're going to do is summarize what that budget included. So at the end of the month, those last 2 days, you earned $150 for washing 25 cars. That's nearly 1 car per day. That's pretty awesome. You also had to spend $20 buying expenses so that you can run your business. So in total, what you had left over was $130. Go ahead and pause the video and read this budget summary. Now we are going to look at a more complicated budget. This is going to be for a soda shop. For the past 8 days, we have the amount of expenses and income you have earned from this business, for example. So for expenses, you now have salaries for your employees, rent for your shop, electricity and insurance for your shop. So in total, you have had to spend $5,950 in expenses. That's quite a bit more than the last budget. But at the same time, the amount of money that you have earned has been quite a bit more. So over the past 8 days, you have sold between 200 and 750 bottles of soda. That's a lot of soda. So you have earned $6,400. So the next thing you need to do is find out how much money you have left. So you subtract your income, the amount of money that you earned, $6,400, from the amount of money you had to spend, your expenses, which was $5,950. And what you have left over is $450. Not too bad. So you may be thinking, why do I need to budget? I know how much money I'm making and how much money I'm spending. I don't need to budget. Well, what about particular circumstances in which you need to buy something? For example, let's say you need to buy some equipment that will make it quicker for you to fill all of your bottles with your soda. But that equipment is going to cost you $600. If you didn't budget, you would not realize that you only have $450 left in your budget, which means currently you can't afford the new equipment. You have to decide to either continue to earn money and save it so that you can eventually afford the equipment, or you borrow it from someone else. So based on your budget, you will know right now if you can or cannot buy the equipment. Budgeting allows you to make important decisions about what you can and cannot do. You can also use a budget to help you decide if some of the actions your business takes are actually successful. Let's say, for example, you have decided to advertise and you were spending now $500 for advertisement, and that was on March the 30th. So many people saw your advertisement that the very next day you were able to sell 1,250 bottles of soda. That's significantly more soda than you sold in the past. So, based on your budget, because you kept budget, you realize that you have now earned an extra $1,000 in sales simply because you advertised. Without budgeting, without those calculations, you may not realize that. Okay, now it's time for you to complete the budget yourself. We're going to pretend that you have a cake business and you make cakes to sell. So on a piece of paper, I would like you to add up these calculations. Look at column number 2, the expenses. What is the total amount of expenses that you had to pay out of your business? After you do that calculation, look at column number 3, income, the amount of money that you earned from your business. Calculate the total amount of money that you earned from selling cakes. Once that is done, take the column of income, the amount of money that you earned from your shop, and subtract that from the expenses, the amount of money that you had to spend running your business. And that will give you the amount of money that you have left over. Now, based on the amount of money that you have left over, let's answer these questions. Number 4, based on the amount of money that you have left over, can you afford to advertise if the flyers will cost you $15 total? Number 5, your oven just broke and you have to pay a repair person to fix it, and he charges $15 for his time. So how much money do you have left over after paying for the oven repair and the advertisement? Number 6, you also have to pay your worker $12 in the budget. How much money do you have left over now? So pause the video and do these calculations. Hey, YIE Club Teenies! Professor G is here, hoping that you enjoyed the lesson that I just taught you in this video. So if you have any questions at all, drop them in an email. If you want to be included in our forum on our website, drop me an email, and subscribe, do the homework assignment in this video, and I will see you next time. Professor G.